you're saying to this day that that wasn't your kid, yet you wouldn't give her the ashes. Why were you holding on to the ashes if this wasn't your child?
So that's something. So when we stopped talking, when we got into a fight, she told me to keep the ashes. I needed time to focus on myself and get myself better.
I'm just not gonna buy that because you had to have a judge actually order you to hand over the ashes.
Yeah.
For someone who was claiming that this was not your kid, that should have been something you would have already done.
It was no intention of me to keep the ashes. I gave it back to her.
Is that true?
His ashes are in the teddy bear. His ashes is in here, and then he has a chain for his locket with the baby's ashes, but he has a football instead of this heart.
Oh, you have a necklace with ashes?
Yeah, he does.
You don't?
We ordered 2 hearts.
What's that a picture of, sir?
I ordered 3 necklaces. I thought that I didn't want mine inside the heart. So by the time the second...
You didn't want mine inside the heart. What's mine?
The ashes.
So you wanted the ashes?
Yes.
Yep.
Why if it wasn't your kid?
Because he knew it was his son, and he feel bad. The day before he dropped he was supposed to return everything. We were texting back and forth, and I was just letting him know, like, you know, like, you deny your own flesh and blood, it's just sad. And he said he wasn't denying him, and, you know, and all that.
Yeah, what about that? You said it in text, I wasn't denying him. And you tell her you love her. If you thought that this wasn't your kid, then what are you doing?
When I said I love her as a friend. I wasn't trying to get back.
Then what was your purpose in sending her these texts?
He wanted to take me to the movies.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And he feel bad.
Okay.
It's a chance.
I'm just waiting for you to say, he's my kid.
I'm not denying.
That may actually give her some closure.
He's mine.
Yeah, he sure was. He picked up the baby's ashes. His parents actually paid for the baby to be cremated.
I paid for it.
Why'd they do that? Why did you do that? Oh my God.
Yours.
So again, this baby was what? This baby was what?
It's mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Recently I did it before
Let's open this
her.
up.
All right, I have a question about the bills, Ms. Childress. We have a series of bills that are all Exhibit K.
Right.
And some of them have this orange highlighting here.
Yeah, so those were the previous.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the ones that are highlighted orange were the ones that were part of your previous case?
Yes.
Okay. Can someone tell us what the date of judgment was in your lawsuit? Let's see, I may have it.
It was 2/16.
So we know for sure that any claims for the insurance that were not processed before February of 16 could not possibly have been part of that prior suit.
No.
So let me ask you this question. Are you going to get more bills?
I hope not. I mean, I don't want to be held liable for this. You know, I feel he's just as responsible as I am, you know, because he agreed to it and signed the IVF consent forms. But I'm receiving these bills, you know, and I just feel like that I need help with them. I do have 3 embryos left on ice, and I'm paying storage for those. He hasn't given me 1 brown penny on nothing. I can't talk to this man. Like, he will look you right in your face and lie to you.
I completely agree he's responsible for half of the bills. The problem I'm having is there are also issues of kind of judicial economy and, frankly, fairness to everybody. Like having different lawsuits over the same series of transactions is not efficient or really fair.
Right.
Okay. I think I have what I need. Anything else?
I have nothing further.
I don't either.
All right, we're going to excuse both of you while we deliberate. Thank you both.
Before I deliver the verdict, we have not been asked to decide, nor are we in a place to advise either of you right now, what your rights and responsibilities with those embryos may be. So I would suggest to you both find out, because there are still 3 embryos left. Again, this could be something that becomes very serious later on if any of those embryos ultimately becomes a child.
Right.
This is tough because there are a lot of competing legal concerns going on. On the one hand, properly compensating people for their damages. On the other hand, having some finality and conclusion to litigation. California law on the issue of bringing separate claims is very different than in many other states in the country. California does not require the same type of lawsuit consolidation that so many other states require. That's the law we're going to follow because this is a California case. With respect to the bills that you received, Ms. Childress, after your final judgment in the prior case was entered, because they were for different services and because they were different bills, they cannot fairly be considered part of the prior lawsuit. And we debated whether to say, you know, this is it, but we can't really say that, again, because under California law, we don't know what might come up. With respect to the emotional distress claim, we didn't reach it because the 2 bills that you had from the month of April totaled more than $10,000. And under California law, birth and pregnancy costs are split 50-50. That's just pretty black letter law. So because you have bills that were not part of the prior lawsuit, you're entitled to our jurisdictional maximum. The judgment of the court is in your favor, Ms. Childress, for the amount of $5,000.